Well, we're a week out from the federal budget, and for business, it's thanks for the rate cut, but perhaps manage your expectations on the fiscal side of things. Well, I'm joined now in the studio by Tony Shepherd, President of the Business Council of Australia. Tony, welcome.
Thank you, Tiki. Lovely to be here.
Good. Well, it's a half a percentage point. That's enough, surely, to re-energise some of the non-mining sector. And Wayne Swan's again forecasting a return to trend growth of 3.25% this evening. Is that a reasonable assumption for the budget?
All we can hope is that it is true. But I think it's important, Tiki, that the budget follows on from the rate cut and brings about that change in business confidence that we need to get growth.
Because do you feel that that is something that is seriously lacking in Australia at the moment?
I think it's true that both business and consumer confidence, despite the fact that our KPIs or our key indicators are looking so positive, is low. And I think that's the challenge for the government in this budget, is to encourage business to invest and to grow, and to encourage consumers to spend and to invest themselves as well. And I think that is really a great priority in this budget, as well as returning it to surplus. And we believe they can do both.
I was going to say, can they, though? Because I know the BCA has a position remarkably similar to the Labor government on the surplus, which is deliver a surplus, short of something going completely belly up in the rest of the world. Can they restore that confidence and deliver the surplus?
We believe they can do that. We believe that they can return to surplus, and they can, in fact, inspire business to invest and to grow and develop. And we think those two things are not in conflict. We have suggested, of course, that they do a complete review of government expenditure to make sure that we're getting, full value for the dollar, the many dollars we do invest.
All right, well, let me just talk about tomorrow, for instance. The mining tax, which obviously is going to be a key part of the revenue side of this budget. The BCA, I know, is no fan, particularly of the mining tax, but it's all happening tomorrow. We've got Andrew Forrest at the Press Club. He's potentially taking court actions against the mining tax. We've got the CFMEU launching one of their fabulous TV campaigns, this time backing the tax. We've got Tom Albanese in town. I think he's having dinner with the Prime Minister tonight, are you? And the question is, I mean, I'm getting the feeling that the mining tax story isn't over, and all this must be very disturbing and unsettling, isn't it?
Well, it certainly doesn't help confidence, Tiki. There's no doubt about that. I mean, it's not a confidence booster, and the consumer and the business investor sits back and says, well, when is all this going to settle down? When am I going to get a clean field? When am I going to get some encouragement, what have you? And that certainly doesn't help. That sort of instability doesn't help.
And there we are, the envy of the world, really.
Yes.
And this is it. It's this confidence issue where government is now, in your view, having to step up.
Yes, I believe so. I believe so. Look, there's many factors which cause the lack of confidence. Events in Europe and those sorts of things are definitely having an impact. A lot of people, their net worth was reduced significantly by the GFC and has not recovered and will not recover for some time. So these things are all impacting on confidence. Let
me ask you specifically about business. 1 week out, as I say, this budget, we imagine that it may deliver some or all of the following. No corporate tax cut, small as it was for big business, a diesel fuel rebate for mining axed, or at least reduced, perhaps also axing exploration concessions and accelerated depreciation on mining investments, stripping of super concessions for high earners, and so much more red tape with the mining tax and the carbon tax. This has got to be a pretty miserable budget for business, doesn't it?
Well, hopefully all of your predictions don't come true, Tiki, because it would be a miserable budget for business if all those things were to eventuate. But our encouragement to the government is to look at the people who produce wealth, who invest in our country, who grow the country, and do not put any rocks in their path. This is not the time to do that. This is the time, in fact, to encourage investment and growth.
There has been, of course, this major love-in with business by the government over the last couple of months with various forums. And I know the streamlining of resource projects, which is something particularly close to your heart, was achieved at COAG. But there's a lot more to go. I mean, OH&S, the national licensing system, just two things. And when I put that together with the abolishment of the ABCC, the Building and Construction Commission, no productivity considered in the Fair Work Australia review, GST reform is dead. I feel as a business presenter that business is being slightly suckered by the government here.
Well, look, we certainly have worked with government on the COAG reform and the breakthrough on environmental approvals. We congratulate the government on. That was a great accomplishment and very worthwhile. And they have confirmed that this COAG business get-together will occur at the next COAG meeting as well, and we will monitor progress on national reform and national harmonisation, and we support that. So, I mean, whenever we get an opportunity to work with government on something that we think is positive for business, we'll of course take advantage of that. And we think on that particular issue, the government has done a good job.
Big question, of course, will the budget measures, the key ones, actually get through? Because we've got this really interesting situation politically as well, haven't we? We
certainly have. And, you know, that is really up to the Parliament to decide. I think the political instability is not helping confidence as well. So I encourage the Parliament to arrive at sensible and firm decisions to the advantage of the whole community of Australia.
All comes back to that big C word, doesn't it? Tony Shepherd, thank you so much. I hope we talk to you again after the budget.
Okay,
and I hope I'm not right.
So do I.